All right, let's jump right into this explainer and look at a high-stakes playbook that is absolutely going to save you money and help you navigate post-Brexit borders with zero sweat. Look, if you're involved in shipping goods across borders, you already know customs regulations are basically a massive headache. But today, we're taking a super targeted, highly structured look at exactly how to return repaired goods to the EU without just throwing your profit margins out the window. We're going to break down the exact rules, the exact codes, and the precise strategies you need to master this whole process.
So think about it. What actually happens when repaired goods cross borders? For UK businesses exporting goods to the EU for customer returns or repairs, well, this is the monster at the border you're facing. You've sold a product, it breaks, the customer sends it back to you in the UK to fix, and now you have to get it back to them in the European Union. On paper, sounds like a completely simple logistical step. But in the world of international trade, sending an item back across a border is treated as a brand new import if you aren't extremely careful.
And what does that actually mean for you? Unnecessary duty and VAT charges. You know, customs rules can seem incredibly dry, right up until the moment they unexpectedly cost you double taxes on your own goods. Just imagine paying full import VAT and duties on a high-value piece of machinery simply because you replaced a broken gear and sent it back. It's crazy. Not only does this trigger severe financial penalties, but getting stuck in customs disputes causes massive supply chain delays. You leave your EU customers waiting, and your reputation takes a totally unnecessary hit.
Here is our roadmap for today. 1. The hidden repair tax trap. 2. Introducing return goods relief. 3. 5 rules of the relief. 4. Steps to claim your relief. 5. When the relief fails. And finally, 6. Your compliance action plan.
Section 1. The hidden repair tax trap. Let's look at avoiding unexpected costs.
As Arnie Customs Manager Ltd points out, one simple misunderstanding of the rules can quickly, and I mean quickly, drain your margins. You've got to think of customs authorities like border bouncers. They don't know your product's life story, they just see a box with a value attached to it. If there are errors in your classification, your repair valuation, or your documentation, their immediate default response is just to tax the shipment at its full original value. This is the hidden trap that catches so many exporters totally off guard.
Moving on to Section 2, introducing returned goods relief. So what is RGR?
Enter Returned Goods Relief, or RGR. This is your ultimate shield. It explicitly allows goods that were originally exported from the EU to be re-imported without paying customs duty or VAT. It ensures you don't pay taxes twice on the exact same item. It's basically the customs equivalent of saying, hey, I already own this, I'm just putting it back where it came from. But, and this is a huge but, it only applies as long as the item returns in the exact same state aside from the necessary repair.
Now, to activate this relief, you obviously can't just write a nice little note on the side of the box. You need the right cheat codes on your customs declarations. Specifically, you need to use the correct Customs Procedure Codes, or CPCs, like 6123F01. When your customs broker or freight forwarder inputs this exact code, it signals to the EU border authorities that you are officially claiming returned goods relief. It changes the entire conversation from tax this shipment to process this return.
Section 3. 5 Rules of the Relief. These are your 5 key conditions.
You absolutely have to play by these 5 golden rules to qualify. First up, EU origin. The goods must have originally been exported from the EU. Second, returned in the same state, meaning the item is just fixed, not transformed into something else. Third, there is a strict time limit. We'll talk about in a second. Fourth, proof of original export. You need clear, undeniable paper evidence that the item left the EU in the first place, like export declarations. And fifth, same exporter and importer. Ideally, the exact same legal entity should export and re-import the goods to keep that paper trail completely bulletproof.
I really want you to pay close attention to rule number 3, because goods must usually be returned within a strict 3-year time limit from the original export. While there are, a few limited exceptions out there, 3 years is the standard baseline you need to build into your supply chain tracking. If a customer tries to send back an item for repair 4 years after they bought it, yeah, you're likely going to face full import duties when you send it back to them. You absolutely need to factor that into your repair pricing.
Let's see how this builds on rule number 2, because this is where companies always get tripped up. Compare these 2 scenarios. On one hand, an item is restored to working order. See, you're fixing a broken screen on a piece of medical equipment. That's a repair, and it perfectly qualifies for RGR. On the other hand, we have enhancement. If, while fixing that screen, you decide to upgrade the internal microchip to a faster model,
well, that entirely changes the nature of the product, and it completely disqualifies you from the relief. You must keep repairs strictly as repairs, no free upgrades.
Section 4. Steps to claim your relief for UK to EU movements.
This all builds into an exact step-by-step guide for UK exporters returning goods to the EU. To protect your supply chain, step 1 is to use that magic procedure code we mentioned, like 6123F01, on the import declaration. Step 2 is maintaining completely flawless records. You've got to keep the original export invoices, the declarations, and incredibly detailed logs of the exact repair work undertaken. And step 3, you must declare the repair value correctly on your new paperwork. And guys, the financial payoff for getting those steps right is absolutely massive. When RGR conditions are met, your duty and VAT are calculated only on the cost of the repair itself, plus inward freight and insurance. You are not taxed on the full original value. Think about it. If a machine is worth 50,000 euros, but the repair was only 500 euros, you're only facing taxes on that 500 euro repair and the shipping. That protects your bottom line in a huge way.
Thankfully, there's a real silver lining in the post-Brexit landscape. Under Article GOODS.8 of the EU-UK Trade and Cooperation Agreement, or the TCA, many repaired goods can actually benefit from this duty and VAT relief without needing prior approval under outward processing relief. In the past, you might have needed pre-authorization from the government before you even moved a single box. The TCA often acts as a shortcut here. It simplifies the process and totally removes that prior approval hurdle in a lot of cases.
Section 5. When the relief fails. Let's look at those additional charges.
We've got to map out the painful consequences of getting this wrong. If you mistakenly process or enhance the goods, the consequence is severe. Duty and VAT are charged on the full value of the item. If you use a different importing company than the one who originally exported it, suddenly VAT becomes payable. And if your original export evidence is simply missing, like if someone just lost the paperwork, customs authorities will likely charge you full duties and VAT all over again. Literally, one missing piece of paper shatters your entire tax shield.
Finally, Section 6, your compliance action plan to minimize your risk.
Okay, here is your practical checklist. First, before you even touch the item, confirm the work strictly qualifies as a repair and absolutely not an enhancement. Second, gather all of your original export documentation before the shipment ever leaves your loading dock. Don't go scrambling for it while the goods are held up at the border, right? Third, work incredibly closely with your freight forwarder or customs professional to ensure they're applying the correct RGR customs procedure codes. And lastly, double-check your commercial invoices. Ensure you are declaring only the repair cost and associated freight for the tax calculation. So, I want you to take a hard look at your logistics setup today. Are you confidently leveraging return goods relief, or are you accidentally leaving money at the border because of messy paperwork or, slight product enhancements? Ask yourself this. If customs authorities knocked on your door tomorrow, asking for the exact paper trail of a repair you shipped back last year, would you have the undeniable proof, or would you be paying double? Don't leave your margins to chance. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.